ruin Caitlin Clark fan base. Only way this stuff could change is if we, the fans, voice our opinions online, in videos, and make it loud enough so the front office can hear it. I don't know what the case is, but at the end of the day, this isn't Caitlin Clark basketball team no more. It's Stephanie White's team. When you got a superstar player like Caitlin Clark, she should be the focal point of the offense, defense, every aspect of that team. The money she's generating for the league.
Contemporary events have amplified debates regarding the Indiana Fever's tactical approach and how it meshes with Caitlin Clark's basketball abilities. Recorded material and statements from head coach Stephanie White have generated debate about the organization's strategic course and objectives. The circumstances escalated after the squad's latest showing, resulting in extensive critique of White's leadership techniques. Analysts have identified a core mismatch between the coach's favored framework and the best deployment of Clark's skills. This conflict has grown more evident throughout the campaign. White's adoption of a motion-based system has attracted specific criticism from supporters and experts.
Aspect of that team, the money she's generating for the league, but especially the Indiana Fever, is unprecedented right now. And we have to look deep within our hearts to figure out why Stephanie White is doing this. And I didn't look deep and soul searched in mine. And to me, it looked like she just don't like Caitlin Clark's style of play, bro. She's an old school coach. I said this yesterday on live. She wanted to be Cheryl Reeve 2.0, but she don't have all the accolades that Cheryl has. Any team she ever had, she really didn't assemble that team.
The approach seems to constrain Clark's instinctive facilitating capabilities and diminishes her influence during offensive sequences. Numerous fans have voiced displeasure with this strategy, contending it neglects to optimize their most important asset. The staff's methodology became more apparent during a televised portion where White explored team chemistry with various player combinations. Her remarks regarding ball circulation and player participation disclosed tendencies that appear to clash with Clark's ball handling style. These insights have sparked rumors about internal friction within the organization. Supporter emotions have reached troubling heights, with many vowing to withdraw their backing if present patterns persist.
Any team she ever had, she really didn't assemble that team. See, we was caught up in the fixation that Christy Sides was so bad, we overlooked Stephanie White problems. See, Stephanie White came with a whole bunch of baggage, but we didn't trip off the baggage because Christy Sides was so bad. Well, I'm here to tell you the baggage is finally being exposed, and Stephanie White would be a great coach if she let Caitlin Clark do her thing. But at the end of the day, she's not doing that. But let's dive into the story right now, and that is
online networks have witnessed growing condemnation of the coaching personnel's choices and their effect on squad effectiveness. The devoted following that Clark delivered to Indiana seems progressively unhappy with the franchise's path. Analysis from expert Carolyn Peck intensified the debate by proposing that Indiana functions more efficiently without Clark participating. Peck's evaluation highlighted the squad's enhanced ball circulation and offensive rhythm during Clark's absence, findings that correspond with White's clear preferences for collective basketball. The expert observed that Clark's ball-focused approach generates predictable offensive sequences that rivals can more readily counter. Conversely, contests without Clark displayed increased player mobility, superior ball sharing, and more varied scoring options.
Right now, and that is, this is a tweet that I came across. It states, this sounds exactly how Carolyn Peck said the Fever are more dangerous without Caitlin Clark. To what Stephanie White has to say about none other than Luka being in the game. Listen to this guy.
A wrist sprain in that game and has been out since. And that puts a lot on the plate of players like Spencer Dinwiddie, who just came in, who finds Marshall for the corner three.
When you see the Mavs just play.
This viewpoint reinforces the coaching staff's focus on motion-oriented offensive frameworks. Nevertheless, detractors maintain this method fundamentally misinterprets Clark's worth and contribution. Her capacity to generate scoring chances both individually and for colleagues constitutes a distinctive advantage that should form the basis for strategic planning. Limiting her influence through systematic restrictions seems unproductive to many watchers. The coaching philosophy reaches beyond offensive tactics to wider concerns about player growth and deployment. White's experience indicates preferences for conventional basketball principles roles that may not correspond with contemporary analytics and player-focused optimization.
When you see the Mavs just play differently without moving on the floor, he's a guy who's high usage rate, the ball's in his hands. When he's not on the floor, that ball is moving, it's popping. Multiple players getting involved in action, and everyone's stepping up.
Lower usage rate for him this
Now, did y'all hear Stephanie White say the ball's moving, it's popping, it's getting in action? This is her pretty much confirming she don't like Caitlin Clark's style of play. Caitlin Clark has to have the ball in her hands to be dominant, bro. And at this point, it's looking real spooky. Now,
This gap becomes especially challenging when handling exceptional talents like Clark. Fan polling has exposed the extent of worry within the supporter community concerning organizational priorities. The vast majority specified that Clark's exit would cause their own withdrawal from the franchise. This reliance generates substantial pressure on the organization to preserve their star players' contentment and enhance her career path. The commercial consequences of these relationships cannot be overlooked. Clark's involvement has created unmatched income and focus for both the franchise and the league.
Spooky. Now, CC AKG also stated, Carlin Peck said the Fevers are more dangerous without Caitlin Clark. Now, this is what Caitlin Peck said. Listen to this once again. I know we heard a lot, but all of this stuff go hand in hand. Listen.
You were at that game just now. Look, the Fever have been on a tear. They've won 2 in a row. A 25-point blowout of the Lynx in the Commissioner's Cup final, and then 27 against the Aces in this one. And both of those games without Caitlin Clark. How is Indiana getting this done?
Any choices that threaten this connection could have disastrous financial results for the organization and its investors. Survey information also emphasized concerns about the franchise's future outlook and dedication to constructing around Clark's abilities. Many participants expressed doubt about the organization's readiness to prioritize competitive achievement over wider business goals. This view generates additional strain between fan expectations and organizational choices. The contrast to other coaching methods has become a regular discussion topic among supporters. References to coaches who stress player autonomy and individual creativity indicate
Both of those games without Caitlin Clark. How is Indiana getting this done right now?
Look, I think that Indiana is even more dangerous when Caitlin Clark doesn't play because she's a ball-dominant guard. The ball's in her hands a lot, so you know what you need to try to take away. But when you look at Indiana now, they've got so many weapons. And Kelsey Mitchell is playing out of her mind. Aaliyah Boston. I talked to Stephanie White before the game. She said in year one, Aaliyah Boston.
These contrasts emphasize the missed opportunities of current strategic decisions. White's coaching history includes experiences that may not apply effectively to handling superstar caliber talent. Her earlier roles involve different roster structures and competitive demands, potentially creating difficulties in adjusting to the distinctive situations surrounding Clark's presence on the squad. The circumstances have generated a complex relationship where temporary success during Clark's absence might support coaching choices that restrict long-term possibilities. While the team has displayed competence in certain aspects, the essential question remains whether this approach represents optimal deployment of available talent. Organizational atmosphere and communication methods have also faced examination.
Boston was back to the basket. Year two, two-man game. Year three, they're using her as a decision maker. And so when you have a point guard like Kelsey Mitchell and Ari McDonald making plays on the perimeter and a post like Aaliyah Boston, I'm going to tell you, at Indiana, they are a threat. And specifically on the defensive end, Stephanie is so pleased with the intensity that they're bringing defensively with their length, their switches.
The clear gap between coaching philosophy and star player optimization indicates wider problems with strategic coordination and decision-making procedures. Successful franchises typically show better alignment between personnel acquisition and tactical execution. The schedule for resolution becomes progressively crucial as the season advances. Ongoing tensions between coaching philosophy and player optimization could affect future roster choices, including possible trades or free agency departures. The organization confronts pressure to handle these issues before they intensify further.
Staring down, we've heard it all before. Caitlin Clark, we're playing off the ball and going like, I need to be a better screener.
Some pressure off you with Ari kind of running point in some actions and you playing off the ball. Just how do you think that will help when you reintegrate onto the court?
Yeah, I mean, It'll be nice probably not to have to bring the ball up against pressure 94 feet. But like I said, like, that's what I'm best at. So we're still going to do a lot of that. It's, I think, finding a balance and finding the ways to give the defense different looks and, you know, me becoming a better screener and
Fan mobilization and public pressure constitute additional elements in this situation. The passionate supporter community that Clark draws possesses considerable influence through attendance, merchandise sales, and media coverage. Their dissatisfaction could generate external pressure for organizational modifications if current trends persist. The wider consequences extend beyond Indiana to league-wide conversations about player development and coaching philosophy. The situation functions as a case analysis for how organizations should modify their systems to maximize exceptional talents rather than compelling such players into established structures.
you know, me becoming a better screener and
Me becoming a better screener. Not only that, if you guys didn't see, at the end of the game, Stephanie White in her press conference was talking about how the team just didn't show any. Basically, she was just like, they didn't show any fight. They didn't show any fight. And let's be real, she's not wrong. The team showed absolutely no fight whatsoever.
Eventually, the resolution of these tensions will probably determine both Clark's future with the organization and the franchise's competitive direction. The coaching staff confronts increasing pressure to show tactical adaptability while preserving their preferred philosophical approach. Discovering this equilibrium represents possibly the most vital challenge facing the organization as they handle this complicated situation. Current video from a pivotal timeout exposes major problems within the Indiana Fever's team atmosphere and competitive drive. During a situation when the team lagged by 15 points, what occurred next showed both individual leadership and systematic organizational issues that characterize their present difficulties.
Whatsoever. She was talking about how the team didn't put in any effort. And you had Caitlin Clark right before leading the team on a huge run. Show some emotion. Have some emotion. The team was dead. They went down 15 points to start the third quarter and they gave up. And that's one of the scary things is that you saw Caitlin Clark last year.
After this specific timeout, the Fever completed a 13-3 scoring sequence, mainly featuring KK Samuelson and Demiris Dantas on the floor. Nevertheless, the conditions surrounding this comeback reveal deeper worries about team attitude and coaching relationships that continue throughout the season. Clark's public statements about playing away from the ball show displeasure with her role modifications. When questioned about reducing ball handling duties by having teammates start offense, she recognized potential advantages while highlighting her natural abilities. Her comment about needing to improve as a screener indicates organizational pressure to modify her game rather than maximize existing talents.
And one of the games was this day last year. It was this day last year, 10th July. It was July the 10th. And they lost this game, by the way. They lost this game. And this is what I will say. So you see this game right here. The Mystics were unbelievable. The Mystics were fantastic in this game. The Fever were 9-14. So the Fever started 1-8. So they were 8-6 in their last 14 games. Or not 8-6, sorry.
Post-game media sessions emphasize gaps between coaching evaluations and player execution. Stephanie White condemned the team's absence of determination and energy after their loss. Yet this criticism followed Clark demonstrating visible leadership during the timeout and igniting the team's only sustained comeback. The timeout video displays Clark trying to inspire teammates who seemed emotionally detached from the game's result. Her position as the main voice encouraging teammates creates questions about leadership relationships and coaching effectiveness during critical moments. Past comparisons reveal the change in team culture and competitive spirit.
Not 8-6, sorry. That was their 14th loss. They were 8-5 in their last 13 games before this, so they were on a run. And they lost this game by 5. But if you guys didn't see, 29 points in the fourth quarter from the Fever to 13. This game was just, if you guys did not see this game, they were down big, and then all of a sudden, it's a 17-point game with 4 minutes.
Precisely 1 year earlier, on July 10th, the Fever showed remarkable persistence against Washington. Despite beginning poorly at 1-8, they had achieved an 8-5 record in their previous 13 games before this specific matchup. That earlier season's game demonstrated the fighting spirit currently missing from the roster. After falling behind considerably, the Fever staged a dramatic fourth quarter comeback, outscoring Washington 29-13 in the final period. With 4 minutes left and facing a 17-point gap, statistical models gave them only a 6 to 7% probability of victory.
With 4 minutes to go. With 4 minutes to go in the game, the Mystics have a 94% chance of winning. And this is what I mean when it's like, this team feeds off energy. There's 4 minutes to go. They are down 17 points. And Caitlin Clark wills this team back in. And not all through her scoring, through her passing, everything. And all of a sudden, they go back to 3. They get it back to...
Clark's impact during that historic comeback extended beyond personal scoring. Through playmaking, assists, and leadership, she directed a rally that reduced the deficit to just 3 points with 45 seconds remaining. The team's collective reaction to her energy created an environment of confidence and resolve. Another impressive example happened during their June 30th, 2024 victory against Phoenix. The Fever trailed by 15 points with 7:53 left in the third quarter before Clark started a remarkable turnaround.
Back to 3. They get it back to a 3-point game with 45 seconds to go after Caitlin makes 2 free throws. She willed them. This team had fight. This team had grit. That is what they did last year. Fever versus Mercury. Last year, Fever versus the Mercury, the game they won on the 30th of June 2024, around this time last year. The Indiana Fever, in the third quarter, were down 15 points.
Her series of plays included personal scoring, assists to teammates, and facilitating actions that produced consistent offensive output. The scoring streak during that Phoenix game demonstrates Clark's complete impact. She directly scored or assisted on almost every basket during a period that changed a 15-point deficit into a 10-point advantage within 6 minutes. Teammates including Kelsey Mitchell, Nalissa Smith, Temi Fagbenlil, and Aaliyah Boston all participated while following Clark's aggressive tempo. Mitchell, Smith, and other players showed readiness to match Clark's intensity and perform at her preferred speed.
Third quarter, we're down 15 points. They were down 15 points with 7:53 to go in the third quarter. Caitlin Clark makes a layup. Nalissa Smith makes a 2-point off a Clark assist. Kelsey Mitchell makes a shot. Clark assist. Caitlin Clark makes a 3. Beck Allen makes a layup. Christy Wallace makes a layup. Clark assists. Aaliyah Boston makes a layup. Aaliyah Boston makes a 2-point shot. Clark assists. Kelsey Mitchell makes a shot. Caitlin Clark hockey assists. Kelsey Mitchell makes a 3. Clark assist. Nalissa.
The collective effort created momentum that overwhelmed Phoenix's defense and energized the entire roster. Present team relationships contrast dramatically with these earlier examples. Players now show resigned acceptance when confronting deficits, displaying minimal emotional investment in competitive results. The fighting spirit that defined their previous success has been replaced by passive resignation. Christie's sides, despite tactical shortcomings, preserved team morale and prevented surrender during challenging moments.